Hey y'all, and welcome back to round 4 of my most recent tournament. Tournament where I have currently, I believe, 2 points out of 3. A very good tournament. Where I've only been playing people over 200 points higher rated than me, which is a very good score for that. And this game is no different, where I am playing the highest rated person in the tournament, someone rated 1944 USCF. And yeah, I'm 1532 at the time of this game, so a little bit of a scary matchup. And let's just hop into it very quickly. I start off the game with d4. I'm playing white. This is what I normally play. And my opponent goes d5. Another game with d4, d5, which I earlier mentioned that I haven't seen in a while. I go bishop f4, knight f6, e3, all very normal stuff. My opponent goes c5. When they go c5 in the London, I normally decide to go c3. I don't like to commit my c-pawn before them because I might play c4 in some lines, but c3 after c5 is normally pretty good. Opponent goes knight c6, knight d2, queen b6, queen b3, all normal stuff here, and queen c2. This is the line you're trying to induce this move, so it's a weakness in the future. And then you go b3 and try to hammer at it in the future. And my opponent immediately kind of makes a mistake with this move g6, and I already know that I'm slightly better here, which is kind of crazy because I'm playing someone that high rated. And my move is actually very simple. The point of g6 is to play this bishop move and like kick around my queen and stuff and be like winning with black. Like if I allow that, like h3 for example, like bishop here, and this position is really bad. It doesn't say it, the engine doesn't say it, but it's kind of miserable for white. You don't want to play this. So what you do to stop that move, you go e4, and this is, in my notes, this is the only move that really works here, right? Yeah, this is the only move that really works here. You're just kind of body blocking the bishop, and after knight takes, pawn takes, you're always doing decent. If pawn takes immediately, you can probably take on c4 first with tempo, and then this pawn is a weakness in the future because you can blockade it and then win it in the future. So you're always doing really, really well in these types of positions with white, and I kind of shocked me how my opponent didn't know that, with him being a much stronger player than me. And yeah, my opponent decides to go knight e4, which is a move. The knight e4 is completely natural. It's completely normal. You have to play knight e4 here. Some people might be wondering if this move works, and it does not, because after here you drop the pawn on b2. So you have to take on e4. My opponent recaptures. This move doesn't exactly work because of f3, and white is just going to defend the knight, and it gets a very strong center here. For some reason I can't grab the pieces. Can I grab the pieces? Yes, now I can. And white gets a very strong center in this line, and white is completely winning. My opponent has to recapture. I take back on c4, of course. Don't want to drop the b2 pawn. My opponent comes here with the bishop. I decide to simply blockade the pawn, and now I'm threatening this move, which would be an attack on the knight and an attack on the queen. The reason I go bishop e3 is primarily just to stop this pawn from advancing, because I don't want any discovered attacks on my queen, and that's always a good thing to do, just not allow him any counterplay. Queen c7, and I kind of go crazy. I kind of go crazy here. g4 is not a good move at all. What I should have done, I should have quite quickly played knight e2, and then I'm just better. But for some reason, I was kind of scared of some discovered attack on my bishop, like this move, for example. If I can play moves like this move, I was kind of scared of. But I mean, just check, just come back. Like I don't know why I was so scared of this idea, but for some reason I was scared of like different like discovered attacks on my bishop. So I was like, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna play really actively. We're gonna take out his central pawn, and then we're gonna start some sort of attack on his king. Since his king is stuck in the center, it's kind of awkward. So I played g4 after like a long think. And remember, this is an hour-long game, so I can think for a decent bit of time. I spent like 5 minutes on this move, and I'm like, okay, he's forced to take on g4. Then I'm gonna take here, and then I thought, well, Okay, my position looks pretty nice. I have like this idea. I might go long castles after f3 at some point. I just thought that I was like, doing much better here, and I'm really not. This G4 idea was so stupid, and I don't know why I did this. Like I even have this idea, and I thought that I was doing quite well. Um, my opponent finds the best move, bishop f5. This is the only way to keep advantage, by the way. Bishop f5 immediately. I thought for a while and played queen f3. I thought this was kind of smart. This move seemed okay. I mean, this position seemed fine, but I kind of liked queen f3 instead. I wasn't too worried about my knight coming out to f3, not being able to. Knight e2, knight here seems very decent because it targets the bishop, and those squares are kind of where I want my pieces. So I was never really scared of that. So I played queen f3 after a couple of minutes of thought. My opponent goes e5, a very nice move. I can't take because, like, at the very least, actually no, after takes I have check, so my opponent would actually just go long castles and just like completely win, which would be not very good. So instead I go bishop d5, which I thought was smart, but it's not, and the advantage is actually minus 1.2 here, although I thought that I was still better because, I mean, well, my pieces are more active, and I thought, okay, my opening gave me a slight advantage. I should be winning this game. I should be winning this game. But this whole line that I played with the stupid G4 move was just ridiculous. And you know, we have a saying in chess, keep it simple stupid, aka KISS, where you both tell yourself something very important that you need to hear and insult yourself at the same time, something that all good chess players should know how to do. And I just didn't. My opponent goes ED. First of all, big mistake. ED is not a good move, and I took on C6 intermezzo. Of course, the best move because you want to take out the knight and then take back with the bishop with the target on the rook. It's obviously the point. My point is I take with the b pawn. A very, very interesting move. I was trying to calculate during his think whether this was good or not, whether taking with the b pawn was like anything to be looking at. In all honesty, I kind of thought he was not going to do this because I didn't really see anything very interesting. Like rook here is never that big of a deal. Of course, bishop d4 is the only move. I mean, there's nothing else going on here. And I honestly kind of expected him. I kind of like half expected him to try like. What was I expecting? I completely forget. But instead he goes here first. This is what I was expecting. I was expecting queen e7 check. I would have to play like even like king f1 or something, and then I thought this, and then we would like trade rooks or something. Well, of course I'd move my queen first and go like queen h3, and then we'd like trade rooks. This actually would be completely losing because of rook e1 intermezzo, but whatever, I didn't really see any of that. My opponent didn't go for that though. My opponent said win rook g8. Okay, I mean, fine move. I've kind of equalized from my earlier escapade with the stupid g4 move, but it's still a little difficult, and I have to keep playing very accurately. I go long castles here. I thought it was the best move. I need to get my king out of danger. Some of you might think, well, this isn't even a legal move because the bishop controls one of the squares. Yes, it is. The bishop only has to control the squares in front of the king, so this is absolutely a legal move. But the thing with long castles, my opponent immediately long castles as well, what I was expecting. And now it's kind of obvious that I'm slightly worse because my knight doesn't have a good square to go to. Like, I have to go to this. There's all these different, like, skewers on my queen that my opponent can go for, like even something else, even like actually, I don't really see anything. I don't really see anything here, but either way, it's my turn to play. Knight e2, only move. I have to bring my knight out. I have to develop my knight, or otherwise I'm going to lose. My opponent decides to go h5. Very, very interesting move. He obviously wants to go here with the bishop. I don't want to allow that. So I didn't really think too long about it. Best move here, very interesting, is bishop e3. After bishop here, we take, and give this check. I play something like this later, but I missed this currently. Instead, I just simply stopped the idea with h3, which I thought, oh, okay. I mean, like, I didn't really spend too much time on this because I'm thinking, oh, well, h3, it's very natural. I'm always kept looking at like bishop h6 stuff, like trying to like mate me here. But at any time I have bishop b3, and I'm completely fine. My opponent goes bishop h6. I mean, I just told you I thought about this, so bishop b3, and takes. Of course, you want to take with the pawn. Taking with the queen, I thought was just stupid. Like, I'm allowing his rook to get here with tempo. That seemed dumb, so I took it back with the pawn. I have ideas of e4 in some lines, since there's no dark square bishop to come and snipe me. I want to put my rook on this square, maybe, and I want to get everything going according. This looks like a nice square for my knight, targeting everything. I don't know. My position, actually, I kind of like my position here. I thought that I was doing quite well, and I thought this was probably either equal or white was slightly better. My opponent goes here. And here I find a very nice idea. I take on d8 first. Very important. I take on d8 first. My opponent takes with the king. And now I put my knight into the center. This is my plan. He's obviously going to play this. This is what he plays after some time. He's going to win my rook, but now I get my queen up to f6 with check. This is my idea. I get my queen up to f6, and then I'm going to bring my other rook and have a very nice position. My opponent decides to do something very interesting, though, and he plays this move, queen e7, which was a move that I thought was just bad because of knight c6, and I thought, well, this doesn't seem quite right, because at the very least, after takes, I can walk my king up, and I thought that I was doing okay because I have some strong little like attack on his king in this line, and this all happens. He goes to a3, I bring my king up. This is my whole idea. Queen like f2. I was just gonna play queen b3, and I thought that I'm like doing very well here. Here I probably have like rook d1 or something. This is never really that scary because of even like king c4, very funny move, and like he doesn't have any forks like this. I always block like this, and I thought, okay, well, at any case, I thought it was slightly better because his king was kind of weak, and my king was actually kind of active. I didn't think it was that weak. It was just more, more like in the game. So either way, my opponent doesn't go for that line, doesn't find queen f2, and after king c2, he decides to trade queens, and now I fully equalized. He's lost all of his advantage, and white actually has a decent chance of winning this game. Both white and black have a decent chance of winning this game. I play the first move that comes to my mind. I don't think too long and hard about it. I play king d3. I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? King d3 seems very, very natural. Like, I'm kicking the rook back. I'm getting my king more into the game. Opponent makes a bad move. Rook e6. He should have lingered around. I was kind of expecting rook h4 here, and I thought that this could be like an issue in some lines. I'm right. It absolutely can be an issue, and I have to actually be a little careful. The computer just says go for it with b4, which is pretty funny. But rook e6. I go c4 instead. I thought this was the wrong pawn to push after I pushed it. I thought maybe a4 was better because like if here I always have b3, and then he doesn't have like any way to stop my pawns with this pawn. That was my whole idea. So after this c4, I thought I just made a whole grave mistake because of this move a5. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to make any more progress on this side of the board. b3, like rook b6, and this position is actually kind of not very, very good for me. I'm able to get this, but remember, he has a 3 on, he's a 3 on 1 over here, and also a4. Just stopping everything on that side of the board, and we get into some interesting complications that don't happen during the game. So c4. My opponent goes g5. I think for a while here, I played rook f1. Yeah, very decent move. I'm attacking the pawn. I was half expecting f6, but I didn't think f6 was that good because I was going to play like rook f5, I think was my idea. I believe my idea was like rook f5, and then I might have played like a4 and h4 in some lines. I don't think h4 was that correct, but I would have calculated it out. My opponent was actually on very low time here, which is a very nice little thing. Either way, he doesn't go f6, he goes king e7. I go rook f5 anyway. This is my idea, like I said. Attacking those pawns, he goes f6. We enter the same position that could arise from f6 anyway. I go b4. and I'm pushing all my pawns. And actually, as it turns out, b4 is a big mistake. b4 is a big mistake. The engine doesn't say that it's a mistake, but for a human, b4 is a massive, massive mistake. And the reason why is because of this move, and I just completely forgot. The reason why you gotta push like a4 is because of this rook idea. But I thought, well, why would I push a4 here? That seems like a dumb idea. He has this move. I mean, no, he doesn't have that move there. But I mean, like even like rook b6. I guess I get rook b5. But really, I don't know. Looks like a draw to me. And I was always aware of some stupid thing like that, so I play b4, but it's a big mistake because of here, and now I'm just gonna lose my pawn. If I go rook here, it's obviously losing because here his king is gonna walk over when all of this, and my king is gonna be stuck dealing with a 2-on-0 on the side of the board, and I would just be losing. Very simple. He can win that even with like low time, and he's down to a minute on the clock right now, where we get 5 seconds of bonus time every move. So a minute's actually not that bad. I'm forced to go for it immediately, and I play c5, one of the only moves that work here. Every other move was bad besides h4, which is just insane because I thought this, but I guess rook c5 is the idea, and even this looks like I'm not in time to win the pawn, but my king's actually in the square. Very nice. I did calculate h4, but not to the extent that I should have. Instead, I go c5. Also, a move that keeps equality, and I'm just going for it. I'm counting on my opponent having low time and not being able to stop me, so I play c5. My opponent takes this pawn. I go rook here first. Very, very important. Rook d5, cutting off a black king from the defenses, and you might think, oh well, he's actually just gonna come in because over here, and then I mean, like even like this move, picking up the pawn is very decent. Like rook a3, like say king c2, and he takes this pawn, and everything is good for him. Actually, no, because he doesn't find that, and he plays the most natural move, king e6, and I'm winning the game. I'm winning the game versus someone over 400 points higher rated than I am. 400 points. If I won this game, I would gain 42 points, I believe. I believe I would gain like 42 or 43 points on my USCF rating, which is insane. That's a lot of points right there. And the only reason why I'm winning, and I play this very, very quickly because I'm still counting my opponent's time. He has like 10, 20 seconds on the clock. He's close to timing out. C6! And it gets the brilliancy prize. Idea being, of course, he can't take because c7. And I'm just going to be I'm just going to be coming up here. And yeah, that's kind of GG. Actually, I have to be a little careful here. I have to go to c3. And you might think here, but now this move, it's very interesting. If I go to c2 here, this move actually works because after here he has this move, and on c3 he doesn't have that, right? I have to actually be a little careful. c3 doesn't have that, right? Because after here, right? Yeah, because I queen and he doesn't have this move because just queen takes. A very interesting thing that goes on there. Either way, c6. He can't take my king and my rook, and he has like 10 seconds on the clock, so he has to play quickly. He goes rook a1. He's trying to get to the c file. I don't allow him. King d2, only move. Rook a2, check. And now I play a stupid move because I'm trying to make moves here. I play king c1. He goes check instead of Messina. He just completely misses the idea. The idea is actually that he could take now and go with this idea with this here, this, and I lose. If he's seen that with 5 seconds on the clock, I'm not doing very good at this game. But king c1, big blunder. He misses it. He goes check. I go here. He has 5 seconds on the clock. He's trying to equalize, trying to keep the game going, but he makes a little noise here. He goes. He says like or something pretty funny. I don't know why that was so funny to me. Instead, he brings his rook back to a6, b3. The move that I thought, actually rook c5, and I'm winning. That'd be the easiest way to win. But he comes back to a6. I'm gonna get a win versus a 1900. I'm pulling up the board. I could win the tournament even, which is insane because the top player actually only has 3 points as well. So I could even win the tournament. My opponent I go b5, which is a miss. My opponent goes here. I push c7. He can't come back with the rook in time. He takes my rook. I make queen. He gives me check. He has 5 seconds on the clock. I'm trying to survive. I have to go to this file because if I go to this file, I actually just lose, which would be funny because of this. So this file, my opponent comes back. I pick up this pawn. It's a 3-on-1, but I have a queen. He can't even do this right now. Like, this doesn't ever work because I simply fork him, which would be nice. He tries to keep everything going. Oh, actually, this is it. Right. Here, I ended up not notating my game anymore because, well, there's a rule in tournament chess. If your opponent gets under 5 minutes, you don't have to notate the game anymore. But then again, I probably should have because I had 30 minutes on the clock, which is pretty funny. But if your opponent goes under 5 minutes, you don't have to notate the game anymore. And what happened next, I can't really show to you in the perfect detail because I don't have the notation. But what ended up happening is my opponent, I tried to give him a bunch of checks because I was trying to work on his time and trying to like trick him or something, trying to give him a bunch of checks. He ended up getting his king down to this square. His pawns were like here or something. His rook was guarding his king. What ended up happening was that I had to sack my my h pawn to get him into doubled pawns, with these two being doubled and then this one still being on this file, and I ended up making a perpetual check, which is kind of ridiculous because this position is pretty winning. But I ended up making a perpetual check, and yeah, it was a draw, which is disappointing, very very disappointing. Yeah, it's very very disappointing, but it's okay because a draw versus a 1950 still gets me like 15-20 points, which is pretty funny. And I ended up placing third in the tournament overall with a very nice last game where I with this amazing comeback and c6. I'm just very glad he missed that idea. I'm truly very sad that I wasn't able to get the full game because the rest of the game was very interesting and I played like garbage and I kept playing all my moves really really quickly since my opponent has 5 seconds. I gotta make him think. But no, I had 30 minutes on the clock. I could have spent some time, but I never spent any time, and we made a draw. Well, that was this tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found this entertaining. Please, if you haven't already, go watch the other 3 videos in this tournament. It's all in the playlist Tournament Chess on my channel, which has like 12 videos, but the most 4 recent ones would be these 4. Yeah, that's all I have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found this entertaining, instructive, all of the above. Remember to like, subscribe, do all the normal things that YouTubers tell you to do. And yeah, good evening and good night.